Hello, and welcome to my walks with a camera. I'm in the woods again, and this time it's a little different because this time I brought my backpack with me. Oh, I'm really decked out. 2 lenses, all my gear to support, and a tripod. It's heavy, but for what I have planned, I think I need it. So if you go out in the woods today, be prepared for big surprises. Oh yeah. Joy o' bliss. So this is where I am. This pond. It's not as high as it usually is. You can see from the bit of mud flat that the pond's receded quite a bit. But it is making for some interesting photography with these leading lines with these logs and the pond and the light. It's about 11:30 and I'm shooting at f8 with 1/80th of a second on the shutter speed, and I'm using my wide-angle lens, which is something I haven't been shooting with a lot lately. I've got it set up on my trigger remote, and I'm seeing what images I can get from this. And I specifically came to this pond. I was hoping that there would be more water, but it's been slowly evaporating and soaking into the ground, being eaten alive by mosquitoes because it is the woods and we're near water. But it's quiet and it's nice. I passed a whole pile of images to get to this spot, and I got to be honest with you, I've been thinking about this place specifically for the past week while I've been sort of reviewing what I want to do going out wise. There was lots of events going on this weekend, and decided I wasn't really into wanting to go and photograph events. I wanted to come to the woods and enjoy the peace and quiet. And I wanted to photograph specifically this pond. It's normally in the past when I've gone walking in this woods, I haven't really had a plan in mind. I've just wanted to see what I can find and wanting to look around. But I specifically began to think about my wide-angle lens and this spot. Now normally to shoot wide angle you'd shoot vistas and you'd shoot wide expanses. And I didn't want to do that. I specifically wanted to experiment. I've got a filter on my lens. Yeah, just to see what we could get. I'll put my 24 to 200 mil lens back on my camera later when I hike out of the woods. But right now, this spot, the logs crossing the pond and the branches in the pond, you know, it looks kludgy, but as I've said before, there's nothing wrong with kludginess. It gives it that abstract sense, and I don't know, I'm just finding it very peaceful here. Got my camera set up on my tripod. It's unusual for me to haul it into the woods. I've done it before. I don't do it that often. I like to shoot free-handed. But you know what? That's the beauty of photography. You try different things. You experiment with different things. And, you know, bring a tripod. Get really good stabilization on your camera and try different lenses. And it just, yeah, really cool. And as I said, apart from the insect life and the mosquitoes eating me alive, this is great. The sunlight comes through, you've got all these reflections in the pond over here. You can see the reflections from the trees and the branches. The insect life all over the pond. This is making for a good composition, even with the kludginess. And I don't mind that. That's very cool. Very cool. When you're shooting with wide angle, it's all about the foreground. And the foreground in this case is this mud patch here and these logs. And the pond is in distance. I've got it zoomed out to 30 mil. May take it into just to expand that. There we are at 14 mil. See what we can get. And that's what it's all about in photography, is just going out and seeing what you can get. And just experimenting. Yeah, it's been a good day. Very, very good day. I'm going to move the camera. As I've been looking at this area over here, that area over here, set it up, go from there. There's some really nice reflections in the water, and it's making for a really nice image. Foreground is just down here. I like the play of the light coming through the canopy. Gives the leaves a kind of a neon look. I've always liked that neon look. Really cool. Really, really cool. Ooh. Like the way the light is coming through this way. I'm going to move the camera again. For those of you who don't know, what I have mounted on my camera is an L bracket, which just makes it easier to move things around and play with my camera, move it into either landscape mode or portrait mode, and I've got it set in portrait mode right now. Just enjoying the way the light and shadow are falling over here. Again, I'm sticking with my wide angle lens. Yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool. I think I'm going to swap out to my 24 to 200 mil lens, see what I can get with that. So I've got my 24 to 200 mil lens, long lens. It'll let us get some close-up action of the light and shadows by this pond. let us zoom in and see what we can get. Okay, now swing my camera back over this way. It's a nice thing about this tripod. Oh, just swung it over, cold. Really nice of the mosses. Yeah, that's kind of neat. It's a nice thing about this tripod with this ball mount. I can set up the tripod and then I can adjust the camera itself, as opposed to having to muck around with the camera or with the tripod itself, which is rather cool. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's at 70 mil. I haven't adjusted my camera settings. It's 8,000 on the ISO. Get it back in Lightroom. I can see if there's a lot of noise, and I can fix that if it need be. That's nice. That just gave me that extra reach that the wide angle doesn't. Wide gives you this sort of panoramic view. Light's faded a bit. It is cloudy. It's 11:30. But yeah, that's nice. Let's see what else we can zoom in on. Not moving around much, not walking much, but that's okay because, as I said, I came specifically for this pond to see what I could get. And there's all kinds of these little ponds in this woods. They'll disappear over the summer, and by August, this area will become pretty much a swampy bog. And sometimes just dry out completely. But it's days like this where you can get some nice imagery with the water and the shadows and the light coming through. And the canopy is more open up here, and the light's just coming down. And the rest of this, is in shadow. And the clouds are acting as a filter, which is really, really cool. I like this log over here, which is crossing the pond. It's a tree, actually, that's fallen. Show it to you. That tree right over there. It's fallen across the pond, and it's covered in moss. And the light coming through, just playing on it, is really, really interesting. At least I find it interesting. This sort of photography may not be anyone's cup of tea, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. We each have to find our own, what we enjoy of the genre. And me, I just like photography. There's some things that I would like to do to expand on my skill sets. My wife is a very cooperative model, but I would like to have other models to shoot. I have a friend of mine who does boudoir photography, and it's really beautiful. My wife has posed for her a number of times. And the genre I'd like to try. Urban photography, another genre that I've enjoyed. I haven't done a lot of, but I do enjoy it when I get there. There's an interesting log in the water. It's covered in moss. Right over there. And in order to get around this bracken, which is sort of clogging up the scene, I'm going to have to take the camera off the tripod. Fine, nothing wrong with that. Always good to plan and experiment. Like the way the light is hitting it. Very cool. Very, very cool. So I would have to say that it's been a good day. It's been a good day of photography in the woods, and I've been spending a lot of time in the woods, just to sort of get away from, the day-to-day stuff and have a look around and see what I can find image-wise. And that's always a good thing. It's healthy, it's good, it helps to calm you down. This is the part where I'm going to wax kind of esoterically, but we get involved in a whole pile of crap out in the world. And we get busy. And nobody ever defines what is busy, We always think, well, there's work and there's the bills to pay and there's shit to do and there's, and we kludge up our life with stuff. But coming to this place deep in the woods, where I'm just sitting by a pond, taking photographs, listening to the birds, there's a calmness here. And you can forget about all that day-to-day stuff that we get involved in. I'm 68 years old, and I've done a lot. And I was involved in the rat race and everything, and just the day-to-day things I thought were important. But the truth of the matter is, it's places like this that are important. Now, it's really cool that I can use my photography in such a place just to capture those calm, quiet images. And that's all that's really important. That's all that's really important. Because you know what? Life is just too damn short. And quite honestly, you could die tomorrow. Do what you have to do and get it done today. That's what's important. That's all that's important. A little while ago, I did one of these blogs where I said, what's in your camera bag and what photography gear should you use? Well, I'm going to use my cell phone to capture this image. And I am going to send it to my wife. Because you know what? You have to share. And just to enjoy the calmness. Mind you, I could do without the mosquitoes. But hey, what's life without a little salt, eh? Ooh. The sun has just come out really nicely. Let's swing the camera over. Drop it a bit. Catch that. So that's my conversation for today. A little bit about photography, a little esoteric, a little about looking for what's important in life and taking time for yourself. If you like this kind of content, give me a like, subscribe. I don't ask people to subscribe, and I don't ask people for likes. There's two reasons. One, I forget. And secondly, well, we have enough stuff intruding on us, but you know what? If you like what I'm doing, and it's partly the inspiration of you people that get me to do it, yeah. And in your own area, look for your own quiet place where you can go and just forget about the world and enjoy quiet places like this. Because at the end of the day, that's all that's important. Until next time, just remember, keep walking with a camera. Cheers. Nothing like listening to the quiet.